Okay. Wait, let's adjust our title on Twitch so it doesn't look like what, the dancing thing again? We're not doing we're not on dance class. You're on 420 Avoidance. Yeah. Alright. Let's see. With that, the king, lord of the land, bit his tongue and stifled his voice. Gillian had watched her once happy, beaming father wither under the cold looks from the queen. He had lost his voice years ago, and now existed as a symbol of his once greatness. The high elf strode forward with indifference, his eyes darting the rafters, as if following some invisible quarry the way a cat does. He loomed over the three figures, king, queen, and politician, and yet he had not yet ascended the stairs. In his shadow they instinctively cowered. The queen quickly froze, and composed herself enough to direct a comment to the pale, aloof guest. "And by what great fortune of happenchance do we owe the honor of your presence?" His eyes darted down to her for an instant, and he again flicked his brow, this time in a look of obvious disgust. "Why do you look sticky?" he asked the queen before turning his gaze back up toward the ceiling like he had no interest in her reply. Gillian, despite herself, laughed. Not a long laugh, not a happy laugh, but a sudden burst, a bolt of laughter that ruptured out of some part long since forgotten. "Yo, how you doing, Milana?" Bolt of laughter that ruptured out from some part long since forgotten. I am a sucker for using the phrase "in that instant." Maybe I'll never use it again in this book. Oh, I saw a couple of them. I kind of had a busy day yesterday. I'll get back into that today, for sure. In that instance. In that instant, Gillian suddenly saw the radiance of the queen's shimmer. All right, thank you. In that instant, Gillian saw the radiance of the queen's shimmer for... No, it's not really flunk. Gotta get the brain going in the morning. ChatGPT hit. I get ChatGPT hit. Let's do that. Let's see what ChatGPT says, and see if that doesn't help me get my brain going a little bit. At least ChatGPT is my partner. You're an editor. I don't gotta do much today. I just gotta write out some lines. This is something I've been wanting to do, I don't know, forever, and I've just been stopping myself. This chapter is an absolute showcase of tone mastery and emotional layer. You've written a fairy tale that's been hollowed out and filled with rot, a palace of performative beauty and real cruelty, and you've nailed it. Gillian feels like a tightly wound thread about to snap, and the Nephilim's entrance is the spark that makes the cord quiver. Here's a focused editorial review with line-level suggestions, structure adjustments, and final praise. Oh, I love final praise. Let's end that on a high note for sure. I need the fan on. Immediately poetic, spun by spiders, and precipice of easy comfort are both vivid and enchanting. Suggestion: consider trimming or breaking the last sentence for pace. Right now it runs long and might trip up your reader. Try so fine and distantly situated they were only visible by a trick of the light. Cushioned beneath her was thick and white, stuffed with such soft down that Jillian felt as though she were perched atop a precipice of easy comfort, one that might swallow her whole at any moment. Self-image section. While she was accustomed to being called pretty, strength, brilliant, take on internalized expectations, the idea that she's expected to be pretty, therefore declared so, is sharp and painful. Add a comma or split the long sentence. Princesses, as a rule, were expected to be pretty. Therefore, she was what they thought of as pretty. Consider giving this paragraph a shorter final sentence for punch, something like, what Jillian saw in the mirror said otherwise. The deeper she peered into the reversal of herself, the more compounded flaws she discovered. That phrase, reversal of herself, is especially gorgeous. Mo, I know, buddy, you went out of your cage, but Lula needs some time down here, too. Physical description. Her hair was a tangled mass of dark knots. Strength. Stunning. The rhythm of her discomfort builds naturally. Hunger, corsets, nurses, the futility of taming her body to the world's mold. Suggestion. You might hint earlier that she is seen as too dark. The phrase brown like soil is already powerful, but you could raise the racial subtext just slightly to deepen the theme of displacement. The Queen. The innocent-colored guillotines. Strength. This entire passage is deliciously vicious. The Queen is a mask of cruelty stretched over history. Beet red face, likely a typo for beet red face. Oh, that's what they like. Red like a beet. Oh, okay. That's what that. The whole time people have been the whole time it's been a vegetable reference. I feel foolish, silly, soulish. The phrase genuine smile, then that moment of cruel liberation, is potent. You could clarify that moment more. Then the moment she first realized she could strike her and no one would stop her. That is more powerful. That is what it's about. How cruel some people can be just because they can get away with it. The court and the crowd, like either guards or ticket vendors, strength and auction it seemed. This line is brutal and effective. The ticket vendor metaphor is brilliant in a scene that commodifies Jillian's life. Suggestion: the paragraph about the dignitary's shape could be trimmed a touch. The core idea, the grotesque parody of elegance, is clear. You might cut one sentence to outpace the approach of the Nephilim's entrance. He moved like water, weaving, never rushed. Strength, one of the strongest introductions I've read in ages. You fucking wrote that. He moved like water line is classic and effective. The pacing shifts naturally. Even the music falters. When he looks at her, draws out her response, just a hair more. Not dialogue, sensation. For example, then he looked at her, and just for a breath. And in that breath, something forgotten flickered, like a window cracked open in a locked room. Okay? The sticky line is a perfect tonal disruption, but if you wanted to sharpen it even more, why do you look so sticky? Adding so punches the insult. Yeah, it does. Structure and thematic notes. I know, buddy. Just, let's give Lou some time. I'm going to take her out for a walk, and then we'll let you out. But it's good for you to spend time in your cage. In fact, the next place we get, I'm guessing you're going to have to spend a lot more time locked up, dude. I'm sorry. I am so sorry about that. Yeah, I fucked up this life pretty goddamn good. I fucked this shit out of this house. I ruined my marriage. I got too many fucking years not taking care of my wife. So, anyways, I gotta keep working on this for, get my hour in, and then I'll look for work. And yeah. The build-up is exquisite, a slow crescendo of praise and dread until the Nephilim punctures the tension like a blade. You balance world building with emotional immersion expertly. There's no need to front-load lore. The way characters react to terms like Morrigan or Nephilim is the world building. Themes keep developing. Invisibility versus attention. Jillian is simultaneously on display and unseen. Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. See, part of the reason this is taking me so long is the allegory. Like, if you're really doing good writing, you are every single character. They're not just flat, two-dimensional images. I mean, it's a whole Jean-Paul Sartre, like how we perceive and think of people. Like, I could do a whole thing about the complexity of man and how much we symbolize things down in order to turn human beings into tools for our own purposes. It's sad. Okay. Invisibility versus attention. Jillian is simultaneously on display and unseen. Her laughter at the end is a rupture, the beginning of soul resurfacing. Yeah. Performance. Every character is playing a role. The queen is a regent, Jillian as a doll, the king as a man in name only. The Nephilim's indifference is the antithesis of that performance, which makes him immediately dangerous. Power and cruelty. The queen doesn't wield power; she drains it from others. The king's withering is a haunting symbol. More of this, please. All right. And final verdict. This chapter is emotionally resonant, symbolically layered, and beautifully written. The pacing is almost perfect. Minor tightening and small clarifications would elevate it to publish ready. You've captured something rare, a believable fairy tale. Cruelty that doesn't feel exaggerated, it feels earned. Would you like me to do a light line edit for clarity and rhythm, or offer chapter 2 pacing guidance based on how this one ends? No. I'm good, and this one hasn't ended yet. I'm just trying to figure out where I am going from here. All right. Do I need to read the whole thing again? Yeah. See if I can get myself going. Jillian's Journey, Chapter 1. Jillian sat atop a decadently dainty throne. The silver tendrils that composed the frame she rested could have been spun by spiders. They were so fine and distantly situated that it was only by a trick of the light they were visible. The cushion she sat on was thick and white. Stuffed with such soft down, Jillian felt she was rested upon a precipice of easy comfort that threatened to swallow her at any instant. While she was accustomed to being called pretty, boom, she assumed this was simply because she was a princess, and those around her felt obligated to say so because princesses, as a rule, were expected to be pretty. Therefore, she was what they thought of as pretty. What Jillian saw in the mirror seemed to say otherwise, as the deeper she peered into the reversal of herself, the more compounded flaws she discovered. Her nose, though cutely upturned as one would expect, was too round and broad. Her skin was smooth and unblemished, but brown like the soil. I don't really love brown like the soil. I'm trying to say that this is from her perspective and that she's got a really low opinion of herself. Like, that's why I use brown like the soil. Her eyes, too, despite being wide and bright, were just loamy pools of mud that glistened like a storm recently passed. Her hair was a tangled mass of dark knots, without a single redeeming quality. Only the most merciless of nurses was tasked with attempting to straighten the mass. Only the most merciless of nurses was tasked with attempting to straighten the mass for such events. For only the most daring could be trusted to tame that jungle. Nor was she some paper-thin wisp, despite how her meals were measured to try and take some of the plumpness from her cheeks. She wore corsets that squeezed like a serpent, tighter and tighter with every breath. She lived in a state of perpetual gnawing hunger, yet still her body would not shrink down to that magical princess size. Tonight? Tonight! Bam! She was bedazzled and adorned like false treasure, all shine with no luster. Her powder blue dress had precious blue and white gems sewn into the trim and aligning the details. Under each cascading row of jewels was a lace trim of gems and trims. I got so many words that just sound similar, and that's where I have like this unintentionally poetic aspect. I'm not crazy about poetry. I think poetry is cadence. Cadence is more important. Her powder blue dress had precious blue, white, blue and white gems sewn into the trim and aligning the details. Under each cascading row of jewels was a lace trim made of the finest silk. What little fabric was visibly to the eye? Visible. Little fabric was visible to the eye under layers of weight that played lightly with the eyes. The cascading row of jewels was lace trim was made of fine silk. What little fabric was visible to the eye under layers of weight that played lightly with the eyes was a simple material expertly woven that had suited Jillian fine as a plain dress. Instead, it had been ballooned into a monstrosity of puffs and poofs to hide and alter her natural frame into that of a doll. Around and before the tiny stage her lofty throne sat upon milled the most extravagant and expensive wardrobes, all worn by individuals whose entire bearing seemed part of the same facade. Each empty smile seemed fitted and stretched to the skull of the poor, desperate soul wearing it. The most frightening smiles were the ones that seemed genuine and honest, because these were the smiles that seemed fueled by malevolent, selfish hunger as they leered her way. The worst of these was the woman she had been forced to call mother. This lady, above all, reveled in the honesty, in the reveled in the honesty of the malicious pride that stretched her mouth into revealing porcelain white teeth that were straight and sharp. These innocent colored guillotines added an extra fine edge to her cutting words. Every word, either to or about the girl, seemed to slice her so finely that the wound could never be seen. Every insecurity was amplified by the echo of this cold woman's casual, lilting voice that could freeze Jillian like a sudden shifting of the wind. Her lips were as red as blood, due in equal parts to the red wine the kingdom was known for, and to her meticulously painted face that distorted her sharp, predatory features. This queen of the castle was a stark contrast to Jillian, in that she was fair and thin, with brilliant yellow hair that shone like the sun, that fell straight and smooth down her long, slender, pale-skinned back. Her movements were lithe and graceful, as her words, until the moment she would strike with some piercing remark that left Jillian feeling as helpless as a small animal in a raptor's talons. Seeing this frozen fear on the girl was the one thing that seemed to bring the vindicative queen a genuine smile, a smile that revealed the woman's boundless cruelty, a cruelty never revealed while the sun was up and the castle was alive with guests and diplomats, but at night, after long shadows had consumed the earth, her rage reverberated down the halls. She would scream at servants and guards, the king, and most often at Jillian herself. Jillian knew too well that the smiling, gleaming, gentile face of the queen wore under her gaudy golden crown was the mask, and that the wide, raging eyes of the angriest blue set in this is it, the beet red face. That seems so dumb now that I know that. Like, uh, beet red, beet red face that frothed spittle at the mouth while screaming out every imperfection she had perceived or heard rumor of throughout the day was the real face of the queen. She would scream until her own voice would crack under the abuse, and then she would turn violent. Of course, the queen hadn't always been this way. Once she was a lowly maidservant who had attended the previous queen, Jillian's true mother. In those days she had been humble and kind. After the former queen's passing, this once demure servant girl quickly worked her way into the king's bed. In Jillian's distant memory, it seemed the crown of the queen slipped off her mother's head and fell onto the Weasley usurper. When the former queen was alive, this pale imitator would reflect her sentiments so purely one could never doubt her innocence. Yet when the queen passed and her benevolent, kind light was gone, the shadows left in her place revealed the twisted, jagged lines of cruelty that had framed this borrowed radiance. That is a little hard to follow. Jillian suffered the abuse with quiet dignity. Although the pale queen would rage ferociously, she could not bring herself to strike with a closed fist, only a weak, soft, half-closed claw that would flail pathetically atop Jillian's head until she either cried out or the queen retreated, clutching her bruised hand. Jillian never forgot the initial smile that spread across the sub-queen's face when she first realized that she could get away with this abuse. Since that moment, over a decade ago, Jillian had never seen a more genuine smile than that moment of cruel liberation. Now she sat, quietly poised as the perfect princess emptied almost entirely of herself, lest some spark of soul rise up within her and ignite the queen's hellish rage, which would be released as soon as the guests had left. And what a varied and almost comical collection of dignitaries there were to strut and posture before her. Me. Each one was dressed in shimmering decadence to the degree that the sight of golden filigree had become as redundant as leaves on a tree. They paraded the hall, either dancing in wide, slow circles, or why is this an error? Or I don't need a comma for or. Okay, there's a pacing thing. They paraded the hall, either dancing in slow, wide circles, or simply milling about as they dined and drank while speaking in high, lofty tones, each meant to carry over the others. They came in all varieties of shapes, none of them attractive. Rather, they seemed like caricatures of excess. Some were short and wide, with a lack of height. Some were short and wide, like a lack of height could easily be substituted for girth, and others were gaunt and haggard by a lack of definition. Other than gaudy fashion, They were all united by an ethereal disdain for each other. The guests would occasionally break from the humdrum revelry to come bid well wishes to the guest of honor, Princess Gillian. The king and queen stood to either side like either guards or ticket vendors who greeted each pompous passerby with royal swagger. Even from behind, Gillian could sense their eyes lighting up at the potential prizes to be gleaned from these patrons. While they enjoyed the prestige, it was all too clear. Wrong two. Two. I need the 002 on that one. Oh shit. I gotta eat. I gotta eat. I just realized I was hungry. Um, Made it all too clear they were here for the profit. Trading Gillian's life and freedom for some grand show of handing her over to a fashionably late suitor she had never met. While she dreaded what fate might await her, she eagerly anticipated the moment she might pass through the castle gates, never to return. Another guest approached, with a round, sweaty face that leered hungrily as the porcelain princess slowly bowed while eyeing her up and down in the motion. He was sweaty and bright red in the face, as the light dancing in three stairs had winded his limited reserve, as so much of his bearing was engaged in digestion. Princess, he stammered as he bowed again, his leer widening into an even grander gesture that Gillian perceived to be a mockery. The royal guardians behind her on either side beamed at the sign of fealty, knowing it was meant for them. This entire affair was less a presentation of Gillian's beauty and more an auction, it seemed. A strange ripple moved through the crowd. The music stumbled. A sudden discordant note from every corner of the hall. Past the puffed-up politician sweating through his finery, Gillian saw him. A tall figure, draped in a dark cloak, glided lazily through the crowd. He moved like water, weaving, never rushed, as if the festivities parted to accommodate him. He was striking, even hunched. He stood a head taller than any other guests. Long, dark, blackish hair draped loosely down his back, but what caught Gillian's breath were the ears, pointed, distinct, cutting clean triangles through the mess. She gasped. A high elf? But no, something was off. His presence lacked the polish described in her books. His clothes were worn. His chest was bare, red trousers tattered at the hem, and wide, bare feet that padded silently across the marble like some great beast. He plucked food from plates with a casual indifference, and joined snippets of dance, only to drift away before the steps were complete. Gillian studied him, mesmerized. His narrow eyes scanned the room, not with judgment, but disinterest. They passed over brocade and gem like weeds in a field. Then he looked at her, for just a breath. His steely gaze pierced her, saw her, and moved on with a flick of one thin brow. They passed over brocade and gems like weeds in a field. Then he looked at her, just for a breath. How do I add emotional impact to this? Am I having buffering issues? What if I just did this? All right. Then he looked at her just for a breath. Let's add a cheesy cliche line. Then he looked at her just for a breath. and her heart seemed to leap in her chest. That works. And her heart leapt in her chest. Bam! Like an excited puppy. So he's the cat, she's the puppy. Yeah, that tracks with these guys. The steely gaze pierced her, saw her, and moved on with a flick of one thin brow. The politician beside her reddened at being ignored, puffed in outrage until he turned and truly saw the stranger. He blanched. By the Maker, he whispered. It's a Nephilim. What on earth is one doing here of all places? The queen asked, her silky smooth composure starting to ruffle. And at this time, that's kind of brilliant. Like the elf is a cat, the princess is a puppy, and the queen is a hawk, a cold hawk. It's just inadvertent little metaphors put in. That's awesome. By the Maker, he whispered. It's a Nephilim. What on earth is one doing here of all places? The queen asked, her silky smooth composure starting to ruffle. And at this time, the king, a short, once round man who now appeared drained of his juice like a grape withering on a vine, balked and sought his words carefully before speaking oafishly. Perhaps it is a blessing, my queen. Fool, the queen snapped. Why would a member of the divine race bless any kingdom loyal to Morrigan? With that, the king, lord of the land, bit his tongue and stifled his voice. Jillian had watched her once happy, beaming father wither on the vine, wither under the cold. It's too much withering. Yeah. But that's the problem. Your brain, like, picks a word and is like, ooh, I like that. That felt good. And then it'll just keep going back to that thing. It's that mammalian maximization. It's, when an animal has a successful life strategy, they'll just keep doing it over and over and over again, whereas humans tend to minimize and we'll say, well, if that worked, what if I try this? And we'll start making variations of things in order to maximize our potential profit and gain. The high elf strode forward with indifference, his eyes darting the rafters. Oops. As if following some invisible quarry the way a cat does. He loomed over the three figures, king, queen, and politician, and yet he had not yet ascended the stairs. In his shadow they instinctively cowered. The queen quickly unfroze and composed herself enough to direct a comment to the pale, aloof guest. And by what great fortune of happenchance do we owe the honor of your presence? His eyes darted down to her for an instant, and he again flicked his brow, this time in a look of obvious disgust. Why do you look so sticky? He asked the queen before turning his gaze back up toward the ceiling, like he had no interest in her reply. Jillian, despite herself, laughed. Not a long laugh, not a happy laugh, but a sudden burst, a bolt of laughter that ruptured out from some part long since forgotten. No, as the queen. No, what am I doing? Um, no, I can't have the action without the person. Queen snapped back with an expression that told Jillian the woman's carefully produced mask had been instantly shattered. Oh, I gotta eat something. Damn it, I gotta eat something. What time is it? Just not good at getting around to eat. What do I got? What do I have for food? We bought a bunch of frozen stuff last night. I suppose I should have got rations. It sucks. I miss my wife. I really wish I had. God damn it. God damn it. All these years, I should have been a better partner. I should have been working. I should have had a job the whole fucking time. The whole time, I always should have had a job. I always had money coming in. It's stupid not to have money coming in at all fucking times. Hi. Are you up? Are you awake? Did you have a good sleep, darling? Such a bummer. But I've wasted too much time in this house. I wasted too much time in this basement, not actually like accomplishing anything. Hi. Nope. Insult and yeah. What insult? No. What insult or injury was to Wallow. Bam. What the fuck did I just do? That's not. Nope. Nope. Fat fingers. Fat fingers hit the wrong damn button. I didn't want that. Hey, baby. What's up? Hi. What's up? You need to go outside? Yeah? You need to go potty? Alright. Alright. Yeah, I feel bad. I do. I apologize. There's nothing I can do about it. But I spend a lot of my life. Yeah. I'm so lucky to have a wife that loves me and hates me so damn much. No. Yeah, buddy. I'm sorry. Okay. Lou needed some time to like be down here with me. I know. I know, buddy. You don't like it when I let other animals into this space. That's Lou. She lives here too. Hmm. As a tall figure took his fist. As the tall figure for yeah. As the tall figure took his first step onto the stage, he passed over the 3 steps in a single movement and rose up to block the light from above and the sight of the crowd. Before her, Jillian saw only this tall, casually intimidating figure. Before her, Jillian saw only this tall, casually intimidating figure casting a dark shadow over her fears. No, casting a dark shadow over. Casting a dark shadow over all that terrified her. Yeah, I can fix it later. We're looking to move right now. We are looking to move right now. We're actually looking to move. Or, I don't know, maybe get a divorce. Hard to say. Hard to say. It sucks. It sucks. It really, really sucks. And it sucks. And it hurts. He maintained his indifference by fixing his gaze tightly to the back wall. Ooh. And tilting his head in contemplation. The politician panicked and dove off the side of the stage and then scrambled on all fours to hide underneath it. Underneath it. Neath. Needs neath. Whoa. Mo. Ah, buddy. Ah, buddy. I really gotta try and fix my marriage, and by that I gotta fix myself. There's a lot about myself that could be much improved. Much about me that can be much improved. Yeah. We lost a bit of our connection at some point. I think we kind of like broke the trust with each other. Anyways, I gotta keep busting my ass. gotta keep working. I have to learn. I have to work to earn my wife's respect. And I might not ever get it, but with enough steps and time and consistency, I might start to respect myself. And I think that's at least worth it. And scrambled on all fours. Tense. Actually, scrambling on all fours to hide underneath. Dove off the stage. Politician panicked and dove off the stage before scrambling on all fours to hide underneath it. That's kind of some bullshit. Okay, I'll wait for your positive response. All right. You know how to fuck around with some shit. Let's see. Links community content. Video producer collections. Um, 26. No, 26 unique chatters. Wow. 15 follows in the last month. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing for me. I'm doing really good then, I guess. Stream manager. I'm trying to remove a video that I did yesterday, the dancing one. I'll keep up the reaction video to it because it's shorter, it's edited out, and it covers stuff. But what about my achievements? Path to affiliate 2 out of 4 complete. Path to partner 2 out of 3 complete. Reach 25 followers. Why is it saying like 22 out of 25? Have I lost some? Stream for 4 hours. Yep. Stream on 4 different days. Yep. Minimum of 3 average viewers on 4 different days. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So my average viewership. I got to work on that. I'm technically not to 25 followers for the affiliate thing, but I'm close. I'm really, really close. I've gotten like that many follows, but people have dropped off. So yeah, I got to work on consistent engagement. Minimum of 3 average viewers on 4 different days. My average number of viewers is 0.76. Huh. Okay. So, all right. It's learning. But we are here to get rid of the video. At least the original video. Respectfully. And it's too bad. It's really too bad. I could have not said anything. I could have not streamed it and just been focused on my wife. But that's an issue. That is an issue with yeah, how we do things. Whatever I'm into tends to take a pretty high order in our relationship. And I gotta stop finding things that keep me so unfocused from the wife. Although I love that video and that I can like sit back and I can watch my wife having fun and doing her thing and the thing that I've missed out on for years. And I can't just blame the marijuana. I really wish I could say it was all just the pot, but like smoking the pot to such a degree every single fucking day that's my own damn choice. And she's tried to get me to stop as best she can, as gently as she can. Hey, what's up? Loving your stream and your energy infectious. I'd love to help you reach affiliation or partnered and boost your viewership. Chat about growing your channel in Discord and MovixO. Chat about growing your channel in Discord and MovixO. Okay, let's cut off that stuff. So it just says I have one viewer though, so I don't know if I trust you. One self O. Movix O. I don't. I do have my phone. I do have my phone. Alright, let's hit up Discord real quick. He maintained his indifference by fixing his gaze tightly to the back wall and tilting his head in contemplation. The politician panicked and dove off the side of the stage before scrambling on all fours to hide underneath it. The Queen's menacing rabid. $6.40. Okay. That's right. I'm adding another friend. Movixo. Sure. Movix. What the fuck? Why am I looking up people's names and not seeing them on Discord? I wish I understood this technology better. Ooh. Oh, I can create my own server. Oh, okay. Oh, so that's, oh, okay. Yeah, I clicked on a button and got information from it. Cool. Your server is where you and your friends hang out, make yours, and start talking. I gotta make a list. I I gotta make a list. Oof. Figure out how all this stuff works. It doesn't. Anyways. Again, part of my issue. I get easily distracted and move on to multiple things. Understand she wheeled back to the pale figure above her. I always had trouble with this character's interactions as I'm writing her. Understand she wheeled back to the pale figure above her. Oh, coffee. The queen's menacing rabbit expression was unrestrained as she wheeled back to the pale figure above her. The queen's menacing rabbit expression was unrestrained as she wheeled back to the pale figure above her. Yeah. Oh, Lou, I know. Okay, what do we got happening? Joss has stepped onto the stage. He's towering over the king and the queen. All the party and the assembly is blocked out. He's blocking out the light from the chandelier that I haven't even mentioned. So he's looming over the queen and staring up at him with a menacing gaze. And what, the king says something dumb, or do I just admit that I hit my point for the day and this is all I'm going to get done and I should move on and do something else? It's been over an hour. Let's yeah, that'll be good. Just tiny little bits and pieces. I really wish I could get into a flow, but I'm trying too hard, I think. We'll see. Getting a lot of latency. I gotta do so much better with my wife. I gotta grow the fuck up. She wants me to be happy. And I'm happy with her, but it's... I don't act happy. I don't do things. I'm just wallowing in this pool of self. which that's narcissism. That's a narcissistic thing to do. It creates a narcissistic echo chamber where the only like edification and support and influence coming in is yourself. And I think what I struggle with when it comes to the social element is I kind of feel like I'm crap most of the time, and I don't know how to make good executive decisions. And so I will look at people who have had a different or a better upbringing and just assume that I'm the fucked up one in the situation. And I think what I'm learning out of this situation is because I'm connecting with a lot of my friends, and everybody's coming in, everybody's got advice and wanting to be helpful and stuff like that, and they are to a degree, but because they're not me, they don't know my exact like neurotype and my way of thinking. They don't know our exact situation. They don't know all the details. I suppose it's where you got to take advice with a grain of salt. So, yeah, I got to learn to live peacefully in contention. Anyways, in the silence, the deflated monarch found his weak and faltering voice. It is nice to see a noble elf again. That is. Mm, I know, baby. Let me just finish this line and then I'm going to take you for a walk, okay? I know. You don't want to. I've spent too much goddamn time in this motherfucking basement. I've spent too much. It's the coolest room in the house. That's the problem. Like, I don't have any air conditioning. With the humidity and everything. So, I really have made a mess of my life, haven't I? I really, really have. I'm too far into my 40s. I've determined I need to go straight edge and just quit the marijuana altogether. I don't even want to do social smoking anymore. I really got to flush out my system. I spent oh God, I've spent over half my life being baked. And I don't mean just high or getting high. I mean, I have spent about half of my life baked. Because it's easy and it's comfortable. But yeah, I just gotta stop. This is what the fucking book is about. the fuck up, Jack. It's time to grow the fuck up. You spent so much time as a child. I mean, not childhood, but enough time in your adult life as a child. God damn it. If I just, I don't know. Stop. Just stop. Stop thinking about what it could have been, should have been. Say the dumb shit. Like if I just could have been a child when I was a child, I wouldn't have brought this shit into my marriage. But just get the fuck over it. Mom was a cunt who forced educational shit on you instead of letting you just be a kid. And at the same time, kept you in a dumbass fucking Christian school as opposed to giving you the special education that was suggested by your teacher. I hate being attached to this shit, and I hate bitching about it. I hate being so, yeah, petty. I need to grow the fuck up. I need to use it as material for shit like this. I need to walk my poor dog and find a better life balance. Stop spending so much time in this fucking basement. I need to touch grass, breathe air, love my wife better. I'm so confused on what to do with her right now, though. Like, part of me says I should go cold turkey and go silent and just do what I need to do without bothering her, without any attachment shit, without any codependency. Like, just be independent. She needs me to stand on my own 2 feet. And I gave up on the capacity to do that a long time ago. Just, yeah. Which, because we both had our problems coming into the relationship, and we never really addressed them. Yeah, dude, knock it off. So I don't feel bad about locking you up, asshole. Mojo, what are you doing over there? What are we gonna do, buddy? I'm thinking I gotta set up a new setup for you. We gotta change some shit while we're still here, I'm thinking. That might be something we do today. You think so, Mo? We gotta rearrange our life. We gotta find a job. You've got to find a job this month, and it doesn't matter. But it's got to be something we can actually get to. If it's got a vehicle, or if I can do it remotely, or oh god, if I even have to get a fucking car. Or a motorcycle. A motorcycle would be a lot better, but getting a motorcycle means I gotta take lessons and get a license. But a motorcycle would be great. But yeah, she needs me to grow the fuck up. She needs me to be more independent. She needs me to get a job, because when I have a job, I do more. I do more. I definitely do. I have more of a life. I get out, I do things, I'm used to socializing, I'm more able to dance and shit. But this unemployment crap has really fucked with me. It's fucked with my pride. It's fucked with my shame. It's fucked with my ego. I fucked with my ego. And I need to drop that shit. That social fucking mask expectation crap. Tap into who the fuck I actually the fuck am. Yeah. But how do how do I give her what I want, which is for me to be happy, without doing the things that I've been doing to make me happy? And she's telling me I have to find new happiness. I don't know where the fuck to find that. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. How you doing? Mojo! And I'm still streaming. Oh my god, I forgot I was still streaming. I'm just sitting here crying and thinking about shit. I gotta. Wow. Oh. Oh, I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to end this stream. I don't have any actual viewers, so why keep doing this? I want to go affiliate, and apparently averages matter, so I got.